This archive video was originally recorded March 2020 at the Tibetan Channels and Wind Retreat with Dr. Nida and Bob Thurman, presented by Tibet House US Menla Online. To learn more about upcoming online offerings, please visit menla.org.
It was on 10 days in Los Angeles and Topanga Canyon. Everybody says you look younger than you used to look. What have you been eating?
Rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation, I think so.
I eat every day pasta, pizza.
That's good. Dr. Nida, we were very happy to have Dr. Nida visit us. We had our Tibetan New Year concert and gala dinner day before yesterday, right, on Losar, New Year's. And Tibetan New Year, traditionally, in Lhasa anyway, they celebrate the Buddha's miracle performance.
Can you unmute your mic?
What?
Can you unmute?
I did unmute it. I think it's probably not working back there. I unmuted it. It is not muted. And they celebrate the Buddha's miracles. Toward the end of his life, he performed 2 weeks of miracles that were very famous. And usually he didn't show miracles. He considered it a bad thing to do, because then people would run after you to try to get you to do miracles instead of learning how to enjoy the miracle of life, a life, enlightened life, and getting away from the unenlightened suffering life. But in this particular 2 weeks, he was being chased around by some rival teachers who were trying to claim that they knew what was going on, and they were out to show off Buddha, and they challenged him to a contest of miracles. And he accepted the challenge 5 times in 5 cities in the major countries of India at that time. And it was not muted. No way. I unmuted it. It's just not working. It's on, it's unmuted. It's a small room. Some channel is not open there. And and then he ran away. He didn't go to the contest, the field that was prepared by the king of the particular kingdom. And he ran away 5 times. And his disciples were very upset, because they said, Buddha, you know more miracles than they do, and how come you keep running away? Well, he said, I know the right time. And he kept leaving. So then finally, on the 6th place, after the 6th challenge, they became more and more arrogant, these rival teachers. And they chased him, and finally they called him at Shravasti, a place called Shravasti, Niente, I think, right? Niente. And then the king there prepared a field, and again the Buddha accepted the challenge, and then this time he showed up. And the people had followed from all the other cities, because they were so amazed that Buddha was running away from the rival teachers. They really wanted to see the showdown, the shootout. So then for 2 weeks he did miracles, and until the full moon, the first fortnight of the Lunar New Year. And all of his miracles had to do with teaching. He didn't just but he did a lot of special effects, you could say. My favorite one is to his father, because the father was very disappointed that Buddha hadn't conquered the world, and had gone off to be a monk, and he thought Buddha could have conquered the whole world, because that was what was predicted when the Buddha was born by the wise man, So the father was very happy. Buddha was a very honored teacher and all that, but he still had a little inkling like, why didn't my son be a king and conquer the world for me? Like fathers can get like that, I can't get whatever. So then the Buddha said, well, Dad, I know I didn't conquer the world, I'm sorry, but take a look at this. And then 2 Buddhas came out of his heart, and then out of their hearts 2 Buddhas, and then 2 Buddhas, 2 Buddhas, 2 Buddhas, like that. And suddenly, like, everyone present saw the Buddha in every atom in their own bodies, and in the ground and the trees and everywhere. The whole universe was full of Buddha atoms, like himself. So he said, well, I'm sorry, Dad, I didn't conquer the world, but I'm sort of all over it, wouldn't you say? So then the father was a little calmed down. But anyway, then the Tibetans celebrate that since 1409, for the last 500 and some, almost 600 years now, they celebrated it at Lhasa, you know. And I guess do they have Menla Chimo and Amdo together? Amdo, yeah. Today.
Lhasa.
It is only Lhasa. No Menla Chimo and Amdo. They don't do
Amdos are
it.
too lazy.
No.
Amdos are too lazy.
Well, anyway, that's the great prayer festival. It's called the Great Menla Chimo Prayer Festival, and then the 15th day is the Great Miracle Day. And so, since we need miracles nowadays to save us from various predatory leadership, we celebrate that with the Tibetans. We have a concert, and then Menla came, but you didn't sing Menla. You didn't sing it.
I was singing
Next year.
Menla.
That's right. You're singing in Menla. That's wonderful. So anyway, that's the context. And then Menla coming from the city was caught in traffic. So, but anyway, here he is. So, you know, I asked Menla, I said, in this next teaching, do you want me to do anything? I'd rather just listen to you. And he said, no, he wanted me to do something, but I don't know what you want me to do, Menla. So I can also just be quiet. Menla, I love Menla, I just want to say. Those of you, how many of you already know about Yutok Yandan Gombo? So quite a few of you, oh good. So I consider Menla fulfilling the prayer of Yutok Yandan Gombo, that he wanted to be a rain of healing that would fall like little drops on every suffering being in the universe, and even especially in the world. You would think with all the misery and the sickness, and we're looking at the virus now, terrible coronavirus, you would think that he wasn't fulfilling that. But anyway, Menla is all over the world. You have a place, you have centers, Menla Amdo, in Lukhang, in Rome, in Bhutan now, kind of in India, in Goa. You have a place in Goa. I mean, inspired by you. I mean, you don't own all of that. Not yet. You should, but you don't. And California, and Latvia, France, Italy, Germany, Russia, Mongolia, right?
Estonia.
What? Estonia. Right, I thought Latvia too. Okay, Estonia. So he's really, and he has taught many, many good students, and maybe some of you are. Christiana over there is very well taught. She has a license from Oregon to do some healing, and she knows a lot of stuff. Tibetan healing in America is not yet licensed because they don't know about it, but acupuncture is, and various other things that are very similar. And the Tibetan medicine, one of our jobs, the reason that Tibet House received the gift of this property, Menla, and are developing it as a healing center, is that I had the job of Tibet House, which the Dalai Lama asked us to do. Our mission is to preserve Tibetan culture. And I was quite uneasy when being given that mission. And then I had this dream, and I saw that because when I was a monk, I had to study Tibetan medicine with one of the great doctors in Dharamsala in India, who refounded the medical center there. But I never really practiced, but I really respect the tradition. And in the dream, I realized I'd been told to do that by my teachers. I had gotten to love the tradition, although I'm not a master of it at all, but I got to love it, and it's respected enormously. And I'm not a big respecter of industrial medicine, which I call, which is the one we're currently, Bernie is attempting to pay for. So I saw that when the world realizes how great Tibetan medicine is, then Tibetans will learn about Tibet. A lot of Tibetans will learn about Tibetan medicine, and they will teach that and offer it to people as a livelihood, and as a compassionate and wonderful thing to do. So that way they'll respect they'll rediscover their own culture, which is very endangered because Chinese are really trying to destroy it, have been for 60 years. And I read at the concert the other night, because it was sent to me recently as a piece of news, which I was so distressed to read, where they have a new plan, a new campaign in Tibet called 1 million policemen in 10 million homes. So like with the Uyghurs, the Chinese Communist Party, in order to once again try to steamroll Tibetans' own sense of Tibetan identity, are putting a Chinese cop propaganda cop in every Tibetan house. They don't have 10 million. There's not 10 million Tibetans. But anyway, that's the slogan that the Communist Party boss in Lhasa in Tibet is talking about. And it's just terrible, you know, like what they're doing to the Uyghurs with their Islam. You know, they just don't want spirituality. They don't want ethnic cultural identity, even though their constitution says they're supposed to protect it. And so it's terrible. So really, Tibet's culture is right here, Menla. And Tibetans in exile, really. And the others have to hide it deep in their heart. The Chinese have not succeeded with their cultural revolutions. Many of them have done over 60, 70 years. And they haven't succeeded still, because Tibetans keep it in their heart, their love of the Dharma, their Om Mani Padme Hum, their faith in the Dalai Lama and Panchen Lama and other great lamas. And so they won't succeed, but it's just another torture session. That's really terrible. So because of that, we have Menla. But then one thing we liked in Menla was a Tibetan doctor. And then Menla showed up. And he did geomancy, and he knows where the Naga is, the dragon, serpent, underwater being, and the white tiger, and the Jachung, the Garuda bird, and the turtle. In the north is the big turtle. And so we have very good geomancy here. And so we really want to capture Menla and not let him leave, ever. But we can't. So he comes, luckily, now and then, because he has so many other people he helps around the world, which is really great. So that's my introduction of you, Menla. And as I say, you're teaching Hatha Yoga, which you're not only a doctor, you're also a master yogi, and a Dzogchen, and a master great perfection teacher. And so really, I'm not, so I'm just listening. But you like to have me introduced, so there I am. That's it. Okay? So onward. Your turn. And that's it. Anytime you ask me, though, I'll do whatever you like.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Is your mic on?
Yes, it's on.
No, there's a mute.
It's on, huh?
Okay, good. Thank you.
It's on.
I'm good, man.
So next few days we are going to do Hatha Yoga. Do you know what yoga means? Means what? Union. Union of what? Reality. What is reality? That will become a long story with Professor.
Okay, right? No.
Reality, what reality is.
What reality is, yes,
Yeah.
right. Oh. You mean, what the reality of what? Oh, the reality of life. Well, that's true. You want me to talk about that?
Yeah, yes.
So this is the thing, is that after many years of, in this life, of studying Buddhism, I have a slogan that what it is, which is the most simple formulation, that Buddhism is realism. And what that means is that what Buddha's revolution of the mind and of the world culture, etc., what it was all from, was his discovery of nirvana. And nirvana is not some secondary reality that's somewhere off planet, that you meditate really hard, or you lobotomize yourself, or you don't think, or you do whatever, and then you leave and you go there to nirvana. That's not what it is. Now, there's some version that makes it seem like that, or lets people think that, because people have a very escapist tendency, and they think kind of there must be some better place than this. But no, Buddha's discovery is that this is nirvana. This is reality, is nirvana. It's right here. We are in. You're all nirvana. We're all nirvana. But and what's the problem? Why aren't we having more fun? Because we don't know that. We think it's some terrible, difficult situation, and we are this lone person inside our skin, and we do have friends, and occasionally someone loves us, and etc. But the whole universe doesn't much care about us. And so we're frightened, and we're struggling with reality, and we have slogans in English like, ignorance is bliss. That's what they say. If you don't know what the world is, because that's implying that the world is bad. you know, what is it, nature red in tooth and claw, you know, or in a modern sense, you know, the Catskill woods filled with Lyme disease ticks. We're all scared of them, right? But if we really understood, we wouldn't be scared. We still wouldn't invite them to bite us, but we would not be scared of them. We would not be scared of the death even, because we realize that what reality is what this is, and it's good. And therefore, ignorance is suffering, and wisdom, or knowing reality, is bliss. And so Tibetan medicine, for example, is very realistic. And then of all the versions of discovering reality, Ati Yoga, which means, Ati is a Sanskrit word, means supreme. So the supreme yoga means joining your life to reality so that you can live that bliss of nirvana without leaving town. But you will live leaving your ignorance, you know, and selfishness, and et cetera, this kind of thing. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. So cheer up. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
So when we say yoga, today most people, they think it's a physical exercise. And so Tibetan tradition, we have that physical aspect too, you know, physical exercises. And especially this time I'm going to do that Tsaloong, Tibetan Tsaloong. So that's a special kind of Tibetan yoga. The Tsaloong means Nadi and Prana yoga. And then mostly when we use the word of yoga, it's more mental yoga, more mental aspect. So that's why the Ati yoga will focus on more mental part. But before we really start Ati yoga itself, there's a preliminary practice. It's called the training of 3 doors. The door of the body, door of the speech, and door of the mind. And so we are all different type of people. Some people are more sporty. Who are more sporty? Oh, very few. Okay, we're not going to do physical yoga then. Okay, so there's a sporty group, and then there's a lazy group. Who are the lazy group? And then there's another group, is called angry group. Okay, so the sporty people, we need to do lots of the body training. So it's interesting. Our goal is the mind, you know, to reach the mind and to understand the ultimate nature of mind, or the truth of mind. But using mind to understand mind itself, sometimes it take too much time. Like we try to use our eyes and look eyes themselves. Our eyes can see everything, but they can't see themselves. You know, we have to use a mirror or water reflection, something like that. So that's why using mind to finding mind, it takes time. You know, especially for lazy people. And so therefore, instead of trying to understand the using mind to understand the mind, we use our body. So we do physical exercises, and that can help us to access our mind in an easy way. And then other type of group, the speech group, which means people like to chant, you know, singing and doing prayers and so on. Who like to sing? Singing group?
Which group? The lazy group?
Singing group.
Singing?
Singing group.
Singing group.
Not so many people are singing. Can you sing a song, please? Opera.
I can't sing opera, but I can sing some other things.
Okay, can you sing a short one?
Okay. Yana wana ho, wana hoi na, hey ne ne, ayana ne, yana wana ho, hey ne ne, ayana ne, yana wana hoi na, hey ne ne, ayana ne, yana wana hoi na, Hey ne ne a hey yana ne yana wana ho wana hoina hey ne away.
Wow, very good. So singing group, then we, the singing, we call it the speech group. So speech actually is connected with energy. And then in this case, it's better, this group of people focus more on chanting. Singing mantras, chanting, doing prayers, and that can help us to reach the mental level. So using the body, access the mind, or using the speech or energy, access the mind, and using the mind, access the mind. So there are 3 ways. So that's why you guys should know what is your type. Okay, what is your type? So if you don't know your type, don't worry. Then I'm free to torture you. So from tomorrow, you try to tell me, okay, what is your type? And when we have emotions, and most of the case, we don't know how to handle our emotions, right? So some people, they want to express their emotions through their body. They smash the glass, punch the wall, banging the door, or the good ones, they just they run, they just run and run and run until they will collapse. And so one way of humans, they express the emotions in through physical body. So that's one type. And then the other type is, guess you know already, the ones who not singing, the ones who are shouting and screaming. Shouting. Who is the shouting group? Should be the same group, singing group.
Singing and shouting.
Yeah, singing and shouting.
I sing sometimes, but I shout.
Okay. So what's your type? Do you express your emotion physically or verbally? Who express physically? Okay, those are dangerous ones. Dangerous ones. And then who like to express verbally? Ah, that's good. Oh. All right. And then there's another group is not expressing, only thinking. All emotions kind of repressed or controlled, so not expressing much. And then they use it. Those people sometimes can be intellectual people, they are smart and this and that, so somehow they stay with their thoughts and emotions keep inside. So that's the mental group. And of course, it's not always good to express our emotions physically or mentally, but also it's not good to hold too much, That can be very harmful psychologically and also physically. So therefore, the most important is to find the balance. We need to find the balance mentally. We need to find the balance in energy level or speech level, and we need to find the balance in the physical body level. So that's why before you practice yoga or meditate or whatever spiritual part, it's very important to know yourself a little bit more, at least to know what is your type, what is your nature. So in Tibetan medicine, we talk about element types, the one type of person, we call it the wind type of people, windy people. What does it mean, windy people? Windy people means moody, right? Moody and sensitive and emotional. Any windy person here? Windy ones? Windy ones, you guys need to receive massage, okay? We have here spa. The best spa is here, windy ones. And then that's a wind type. And wind type of people, they have also sleeping disorders, sleeping issues. Insomnia, difficult to fall asleep, or waking up too early, And so especially now, we are in a flu season. It's very important to get enough sleep, because sleep is the best way to boost our immune system, right? But many windy people, they have issues because there's too much wind in their head, you know. Wind is blowing up and down, and then, you know, they have the sleeping disorders. And then the next group of people, they are fire people, fire type, fire nature. You know who are fire nature, right?
The angry ones.
Angry ones. Angry ones. And so they are fire type of people. Normally they are smart people. They are smart, that's why they're angry. Because they always think everybody else is stupid, you know. And then, yeah, that's called the fire type of people. And then, yeah, next one is water and earth people together, water type and earth people. That's the slow ones, sleepy ones, lazy ones, you know. They are also kind. They are maybe slow and stupid, but they're kind people. So, you know, for a couple, one is water and one is fire, it's good, you know, they can balance each other. But if they are both fire and then they burn their home, you know. And both they are wind and they blow away everything. So somehow it's important we know our nature, and then we really find out the balance. Okay? So if you know your nature, then you know why you are a normal person. Do you understand? We always think like we are not good enough, you know, we are not this and that. What we do normally is we blame ourselves. You know, the angry people, they have anger, but then they feel guilty. They say, oh, you know, why I did that, why I said that, you know. I'm smart, I know the other person is stupid, but you know, even if I say it doesn't change anything. So self-blaming, it's a very, common thing in our life, you know. Once we start to blame ourselves, then we always see something wrong ourselves, right? I think that's a big inner demon, you know, inner demon. It's an internal demon. It really blocks ourselves. And so the more you see your own nature, and then the more you are confident with yourself, the more you stop blaming yourself, right? You know, some people originally, like, they are potatoes. You understand? If you are a potato, you just need to know you are a potato. You don't need to be a carrot. You are a potato, but you try to be a carrot. It doesn't work, right? And like in a beautiful garden, natural biodiversity, and so many herbs, many plants, many veggies all growing together. Actually, our human society is like that, right? In one country, we have many different type of people. One city is the same, one village is the same, even one family, you know, right? Father is the fire type, and mother is the wind type, and the daughter is the earth type, and son is the water type. So, you know, they are all different, and you know, everybody thinks different way, everybody functions different way. But if they understand their own nature and they respect each other, then there's no problem. Actually, this diversity brings the harmony and brings the balance, right? So that's why I think in our spiritual tradition, to know that part is a very important foundation, you know, to know yourself. You are a physical person, or you are a verbal person, or you are a mental person, right? Or your nature is you are windy, you are fiery, you are earthy or watery, whatever. You know, water people normally they are calm and relaxed and connective. They like to connect to people. They are good for socializing. You know, water goes everywhere, and any other drop of water, they reconnect everywhere, right? Water is connective. And they are gentle. And then the earth people are stable people, stable people. Sometimes the earth people, some your old friends, your friendship is always kind of stable, even you don't have close contact. So yeah, that's why it's very important to know that, maybe from tomorrow we'll do a little bit about typology, but you should think about yourself. Okay, I can't tell you your typology because I don't know you well yet. Who really know you well? Yourself. That's why you try to analyze. Actually, it's very easy. You just imagine the wind, right? The wind, the nature of wind. Anytime can blow, right? It can go anywhere. It's always sensitive. And so it's the base of the motion. You're always moving. You need to, you're always moving, doing something. You don't know what you're doing, but you're kind of busy all the time. And end of the day, you don't know what you have done. But you did so many things all day. You have been busy, right? So you see, you just think of the wind in the nature. As Yuto said, the father of Tibetan medicine, he said, we don't need to learn new things. We only need to discover what we have already, what we know already. So, yeah, that's true. When I talk about elements, you think, oh, wow, it's a Tibetan theory, it's a good idea. But we are the production of 5 elements, right? We're made of 5 elements. Our cells are made of 5 elements. And then, in the 5 elements, some of us, we have more wind, some of us, we have more fire, some of us, we have more water, some of us, we have more earth. So that makes us different, right? And then, also some of us, we have 2 elements together, 2 elements together. And wind and fire, it's a dangerous combination. Dangerous combination, but there are many people who are combined together. And this is not dangerous, we only need to know them, okay? And so, yeah, 5 elements. You just think of the water, what is the nature of the water? Do you understand? When it's very cold, it can become frozen. Once it's frozen, it's called the ice. It's solid. But then the ice cannot become a water immediately. It takes time. Do you understand? Sometimes you have a problem with a relationship or whatever. You freeze, you are feeling with that person. But you cannot lose it immediately, one day or one overnight, next day you are fine. So it takes time that you rebuild your connection, right? Lose your feeling or emotions. So that's the water type. And wind ones, in the morning you are in love and the evening you are fighting, And then next day you say, oh, I'm sorry, and this and that. One day can change a lot, right? Strong wind, the mild wind, and soft one, and this and that. And then the earth's nature is whatever you do, probably you do everything slowly and stable, And also maybe for you, you have a, nature that not so easy to change, your old habits. Do you understand? Some people, we call it open-minded. Those open-minded, you know what nature is? The open-minded ones are wind. Wind can blow anywhere, right? And then the fire ones, and they are thinking, they are intellectual. They think, they analyze. They think, okay, something safe, something good, and then they take it. So wind people, they don't think, they just jump, take everything. It's called open-minded people. And so water ones, they're gentle, connective. So once they're connected, they're stable. But we have to be careful. Once it's frozen, it takes time, to remelt them. And yeah, then the fire ones, the earth one, it takes time. for building everything. Once everything you have, it's kind of very stable, right? Some people, they are like that, right? They study things very precisely, whatever job they do, everything, they have that nature. And maybe sometimes we call the earthy people, they are known as, how do you call it? Stubborn. Who is stubborn here? Yeah, you're stubborn? Yeah. All right. And yeah, do you think earthy people can get angry easily?
No, but when they do, they stay.
When they do, it's called earthquake.
Yeah.
They do everything. They destroy everything. When they do, it's called earthquake. Water people, when they are angry, it's called a tsunami. Windy people, when they are angry, it's called a typhoon. Right? Fire people, when they are angry, it's called what? Volcano. Volcanic. So, what is your nature? Who is wind? Wind, wind, wind. Oh, many ladies, they said wind. Yeah, that's good. And then fire. Wow, volcano. Volcanic. And water. Earth. Okay, wind and fire together. Water and earth together. Okay, good. All four of them together. Okay. Tomorrow I will help you to check again. I'll make you angry, then we will see how you to become typhoon or tsunami or volcano. Okay, so then emotionally, in the mental level, according to Buddhism, there are three, we call it the three mental poisons. Sometimes it's called the 5 mental poisons because of 5 elements. And then the summarized one is called the 3 mental poisons. So I think all of you know that, right? 3 mental poisons. So first mental poison is called ignorance or confusion. Second one is attachment or desire. And then third one is called anger or hatred. Okay? Can you think of one of your problem? Just your personal problem. Okay? Are you thinking one? Only one. I know you have 100 of them. But now just think one problem. Are you thinking one? Very recent one. Are you thinking one problem? Okay, ask yourself, that problem is it something connected with your desire, attachment? Maybe you want to have one, you wanted to do something you couldn't do. You want to have something, you couldn't have it. It's more connected with desire or attachment. Like somebody really want to get married. You understand? You want so much, you push so much. Then it doesn't happen and then you're upset. It's just an example, okay? So then if you have kind of stress, like that's kind of more based on desire, right? Desire. Desire or attachment. Yes? Yes?
No, desire of attachment.
What's your problem? Can you tell us?
Desire of attachment.
Problem with wife?
Desire of attachment.
Desire of attachment. Okay, so if it's not so much to do with desire or attachment, maybe it's anger. Because of something you are just angry, and that anger make you unhappy. And sometimes, today, because our emotions are so complex, and we don't know how emotions are manifesting. And many cases, anger manifests as a stress, the one we call stress, right? The feeling something like a pressure in the chest, something running up and down, something make you sweat and very discomfort, That's anger manifesting as a stress. So maybe you don't say it's anger, you say it's a stress. But in reality, anger is manifesting as a stress. Okay? So is your problem connected with that?
And fear?
Huh?
And
Fear coming later. Wait. Give me some time. Give me some time.
Okay.
Fear of what?
Well,
Fear of women?
No. I wanted to know if fear belongs with anger.
Fear also is, the one fear is connected with desire. Another fear, there are different type of fears, okay? Different type of fear. And, it's interesting. The fear is the other side of the hope or expectation. When you have a hope to achieve something, then you have a fear, you lose that. So hope and fear, they are kind of connected together, in the Tibetan tradition. I think that makes sense. And then, fear, maybe we'll talk next days. Just let me finish my 3 emotions, okay? Okay, so you think your problem is not connected with desire or attachment, or you're not feeling anger or hatred. So you are having a problem and you're not feeling good with that, unhappy about that. If you don't know what it is, then it's called ignorance, confusion. Okay? You see, it's very interesting. Every day when you have a problem, mental level, you have a problem, you try to analyze and to chagduya.
No.
Chagduya.
What's like that?
I have an Italian jacket.
Oh.
Very warm one.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's even nicer. Thank you. What is that? My water side is showing. Watery, cold.
You need some chili, probably.
Probably.
So, okay, it's very interesting. Every day when you have any problems, when you're upset, when you're unhappy, you try to analyze it's connected with which poison. Do you understand? Or which mental poison. And then the most important thing is, we call it mental poison, but they are not bad. Do you understand? We're not saying they are very negative and they are bad. Poisons are just poisons, right? Poison also means medicine. So it depends on us how to use it. Do you understand? Like he's talking about fear. Fear is a poison, but sometimes fear is very useful. Because of fear, we have better motivation. Mm-hmm. Because of fear, we can do the job better. Because of fear, we can do many things. Mm-hmm. It's not all fear something very bad and we have to avoid it. Same way also anger, right? Anger has a good part and there's a bad part. So that's why it's a poison. And today in our time it's very easy to understand this, right? Poison is a medicine, medicine is poison. Think of any types of antibiotics. Antibiotics. Do you know any? They are all poisons, right? They are all poisons. Which one has no side effect? Everybody has side effect, right? So some antibiotics, okay, it can kill few types of bacteria, few types. If you check the benefit of one antibiotic, there are 5 benefits. It means it kills 5 types of bacteria. But then if you read the side effect, the severe ones, the common ones, and the rare ones, you can read the 50 of them. So then the question, it is a medicine or it is a poison? It's a both, right? It's a both. Medicine is the poison, poison is the medicine. And in ancient Western culture, we have this view, it's called the alchemy, right? Alchemic studies. And In our time, it's becoming chemistry, you know. And in chemistry, we know poison is a medicine and medicine is a poison. So that's why in the Buddhist tradition, exactly the same thing. We call it the 3 mental poisons. And then some people, they try so hard, oh, mental poisons, I need to free from poisons. We cannot free ourselves poisons, but we can use them better, in a better way. The poison can be used as a medicine. When we know how to use them, they are medicines. So that's why in Sanskrit, Nyonmon is called the klesha. You know, klesha is afflictive, mental afflictive emotions.
Yeah, the people say I like addictive emotion myself.
Addictive emotions. But once we know how to work with addictive emotions, kleshas, they become jnana, means wisdom, intelligence, enlightenment, right? Like before, professor was saying, samsara and nirvana, they are coexistence. They are both front of us. So it's up to us, we see the samsara or we see the nirvana. And same way, like professor always mentions, suffering and bliss, joy is coexistence, right? So if we see things as suffering and pain, it is a pain and suffering. You know, we can feel it with our mind, with our emotions. But if you look in another angle, it's not pain, it's not suffering, it's a joy and bliss. Do you understand? So that's why, I think that part of Buddhism is very, very important. So now we call it yoga, and yoga means achieving our natural state, original state, you know. So I call it our own organic state, right? If it's a potato, there is an organic potato, or there is a contaminated potato, right? And so for us also the same. We can have many different layers, but inside of us we all have organic ourself, and that's original ourself. So yoga means to reach that, you know, original ourself. Okay, so 3 poisons. And you know, sometimes now I tell you some problems with Buddhism. In the Buddhist philosophy, we have so many philosophies, but sometimes we don't use this in the daily life, you know. You can read like Buddhist philosophies, thousands of pages, you know. How we can integrate this in our daily life, and especially like modern time, you know. Everybody works so much and so stressed and this and that, so we don't have many tips. So that's why sometimes Buddhism is becoming too much philosophy and theory and not becoming something practical, useful, you know, in our daily life, right? And that's one thing. And that's why I think, like the Buddha, the word of Buddha, Buddha, there are 2 words, Buddha, right? Buddha in Sanskrit, the Buddha. One means wake up. One means wake up. One is to get everything. Do you understand? So Tibetan translation of Buddha is very good. There are 2 words. Sang, Je. Sang means wake up. Wake up from confusion. Wake up from depression. Wake up from pain. Wake up from suffering. Wake up from confusion. Do you understand? Wake up. Wake up from all your mess and troubles and traumas and dramas. You are here in Menla, everything is perfect. Professor is sitting in front of you. What is the problem? Do you understand? The moment you really wake up, this is called life. This fresh moment is called life. If you really wake up this fresh moment, you are free from all problems. But when you don't wake up, and then we get lost in our traumas and dramas, then we are not here, we are somewhere else, right? We are not here, maybe we got stuck in the past, or maybe we are running in future. Do you understand? So that's why Sang, Tibetan word, Sang, Nid Sang, means completely wake up. It means completely coming out from the confusion, coming back from the, getting lost. Do you understand? Nisa. J means all qualities are raised. All qualities are raised. Once we wake up, for example, if you're having a bad dream, right, nightmare, bad dream, what is the best solution?
Wake up.
Yes. So wake up is the best solution. And there are two different ways to wake up. Do you understand? There are two different ways. So first waking up is you are having a bad dream, and then physically you wake up, you say, I'm so happy it was a dream, Like I'm not dying, somebody chasing after me, I was almost get killed, it's a dream, I'm so happy, right? You wake up, and the moment you wake up, it means also coming out from the confusion and ignorance. And then we are free from the problems. And once you are free from the problems, and then all your knowledge, other qualities arises, because then you don't get stuck with the problems. So this is the normal way to waking up. Then there's another way to waking up in the dream, when you are having a bad dream, nightmare. That is called the lucid dreaming. You realize you are dreaming. Oh, it's not somebody, I don't need to run away anymore, it's my dream. Somebody chasing after me, it's just my dream, it's my mind. When you become lucid, the guy, the scary one, the powerful chasing after you, just will disappear or becoming very weak. You understand? There are two different ways of waking up. Or you become lucid in the dream, or physically you wake up. Both ways it's okay. It's called the Bud. Bud means waking up. And then once you wake up, and then you get all the knowledge or wisdom, whatever. These things I'll talk next days. Okay? So that's called the Buddha. And in every moment of our life we can do Buddha. And especially we are facing problems when we have many issues. If we really use the power of our mind, we can just wake up from those problems. Do you understand? Like so many, when you have small problems, you think they are problems. Once you have a bigger problem, these small problems are not problems anymore. Bigger ones are real problems. Do you understand? Then another bigger one is, that's a problem. You see? So actually the problem is an illusion. It's a mental belief. It's a mental belief. And that's why there is always a chance to wake up from our problems. Right? So that's, I think, the main teaching of Buddha. So main teaching of Buddha is just in the word of the Buddha. Okay? The word of the Buddha. So that's why I'm always saying Buddhism can be a philosophy, can be a theory, but we have to, at end, we have to wake up from our theories, from our beliefs, from our philosophy. Do you understand? Otherwise, we get stuck with theories or philosophies, We get lost with them. We can get lost with the words. And the same way, Buddhism can be the rituals, the practices and symbolic things and altar, offering, all these things. We can see Buddhism as a religion, faith and belief, whatever you call religion, beliefs and these things. Buddhism, we can have all these things too. But most essential thing is, at end, with the religious concept, we have to make a Buddha. It means we have to wake up from all these religious concepts. Do you understand? The same way Buddhism can be a science or psychology or whatever. At end, we always have to wake up. So that's why, I think we really have to use Buddhism as something very, very practical in our daily life. And so next days you guys will learn about Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga it's a very, how do you say, direct one, very easy to use any moment of your life. And then the other part of the Buddhist teachings, and today, and especially when we talk about general Buddhism meditation like this, we are kind of lack of using our body, right? So when we hear the Buddhism is almost like Buddhism is equal to intellectual, mental level, and we talk so much about emotions and mind and this and that, but body part is a little bit ignored, right? If you talk about the shamatha meditation, if you talk about vipassana meditation, and shamatha says we have to learn how to sit. Or if we walk, we said, okay, you have to walk mindfully. And then you have to walk like more or less like armies, 1, 2, this. And so that's why there are many cases. I think the body part is, we see it's kind of a little bit, ignored. I think today especially, in the medical point of view, sedentary is the biggest issue in our lifestyle. We are all sitting, right? Not like old times. Old times, everybody's busy, working, traveling. Everybody's so busy in old times. But today we're all sitting. We're traveling by sitting, right? We're traveling by car, traveling by this and that. So we are really lack of the body movement. And that's why we need tantra, okay? Tantra. How do you say tantra or tantra? Tantra. Huh? Tantra. We need the tantra. So Tibetan Buddhism is called also tantric Buddhism, right? Tantric Buddhism. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about karma.
That's okay. Okay.
I'm not going to talk about karma.
Don't worry, I always have Mahamudra.
Okay. So tantra, tan and tra, 2 words, tan and tra, 2 words. Tan means body, okay? Tra means protect. So tantra means body protection. Do you understand? And same way like mantra, man means mind and tra means protection. So mantra is mind protection. That's why I'm translating mantra is the oldest psychotherapy, right? Man means the mind, tra, protection means therapy. So psychotherapy, humans' oldest psychotherapy, it's called the mantra. You understand?
Very good.
And then you just chant the mantra, you chant and chant and chant. Of course, the mantras, they have vibrations, they opens the channels. That's what I was saying earlier. We use our voice, we use our speech, and then speech is becoming energy, and this energy can unblock our channels. Our channels are unblocked, and our energy rebalance, and then mentally we are fine. Do you understand? So this is the reason why we have many different kinds of mantras. So they are all, the different mantras, they have different goals or different functions, right? Everybody knows Om Mani Padme Hum, 6 syllables. Do you know that mantra? Om Mani Padme Hum. What does it mean? Om is a universal sound. Mani means the jewel. Padme means the lotus and the jewel. Hum means a blessing, right? Lotus and the jewel. And so it's talking the quality of our human heart, our human heart. So the lotus is our body, and that jewel is our heart. And this jewel is made of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. So if you recite Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, it's like you're filling your heart with love and compassion, joy, and equanimity. Probably that's what we are looking for in our life, right? That's what all we are looking for. We are searching. And we think something externally, coming externally, we don't get it. So that's why this mantra says just to sit and chant the mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum. We see our body as a flower. We see our heart as a jewel. It's called the wish-fulfilling jewel, the jewel of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Right? So you see, it's the best psychotherapy. Do you understand? We can skip all, the long appointments with our therapist. Every week you have to go there, appointments and this and that, and then your therapist is far away, you have to drive, then you get more stress, and then this and that. You try to find a closer one, it's more expensive, there's always issues, right? Welcome to samsara, welcome to samsara. So that's why I think sometimes something wrong with our system, psychotherapy system. Sorry, maybe there's some psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm just saying what I think. If somebody can do really a retreat, 7 days of reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, that mantra opens your heart chakra. You feel the love. Do you understand? You feel you love yourself. That's the most important thing. Right? We always begging others to love us. That's the most stupid thing. We don't know how to love ourselves. So why we expect somebody else to love us? Do you understand? If you really want to be loved, first you love yourself. The more you love yourself, the others will love you too. Do you understand? So that's why you build up the love and compassion and the joy. That's called Om Mani Padme Hum. 6 syllables, right? 6 syllables showing 4 essential meaning of our human life. So if you do 1 week of retreat just reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, I think we should do a retreat, Om Mani Padme Hum.
Okay.
For 7 days.
Definitely.
Right? 7 days of retreat, then 1 year you are okay. If you need another one, do another. That's ancient time we call it a retreat, retreat, right? Retreat. And then all this you are feeling of unloved, unwanted, do you understand? Loneliness, sadness, depression, everything will disappear. And the problem is we blame others and we make our own issues and we ask others to fix it. Do you understand? I have a very good example. Once in Italy we were doing a meditating, one lady sitting there and the sunlight is hitting on her. And she's asking people to cover the window and this is too strong, this is that, this. I said, why you just don't move, You don't need to disturb anything, just to move. Little bit, all problems are resolved. She said, oh yeah, you are so smart. I said, I'm not smart, but practical. You understand? The light is hitting this lady and she made a whole drama there, And the window was very high. It was very difficult to close it. All right. So, problem is self-generation, but solution in ourselves too. I think that part is very important. Okay, mantra is the psychotherapy, and then tantra is kind of physiotherapy. Do you understand? Ancient tantra is the physiotherapy. And that's why yoga is a part of tantra too. Some of the yogic exercises are helping us, to to fix our physical problems. Okay, so please remember that word. When we say tantra, it means physiotherapy. Okay, it means body therapy to fix the body's problems, and that's why tomorrow morning. Please come here at 7 o'clock, and Christiana is going to teach us the Nida. There's a very easy and practical Tibetan yoga, and my book also came out. I'm very happy about this, my book. Everybody can do this yoga. Do you understand? It's a very simple one. Nejang is like the exercises of different parts of our body. Can you move your head back and front like this? Stretch. Everybody do it, please. Stretch back and front. Okay, now you turn right side, stretch, 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 and then the other side, stretch, 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 stretch. Now you turn your head. If you have neck problems, do it slowly, okay? Be gentle with yourself, be gentle. And switch. Okay, now move your shoulder. If you are cold, if you are feeling cold, just do like this. Shake your shoulder. Shake it, shake it. Shake, shake, shake your shoulder. Okay. Turn your belly. Maybe some of you, you're Kundalini practitioner, don't let your snake wake up, okay? I want you wake up, not the snake. Do you know Kundalini syndrome? It's like this, 24 hours. Snake is spinning. Okay. Now spread your legs. You're sitting. Faster, faster. If you can do faster, yes. Open more, spread more. Like this, good, sir. Yeah. Open more. Yeah, that's good. Faster, faster. Straighten your back, straighten your back. Straighten your back. Yeah, faster, faster. You see, now we don't need a heating system. How are you? More. Yeah. Very good. More. Very good. Okay. Now you stand up and sit down 7 times. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. Are you complaining about the heating system now?
Too hot.
Did that working?
That's called Tantra. Now you know what Tantra is. Okay? The one you call Tantra, tantric massage, tantric, that one is just a small part. You understand? That's a small part. Some people, you see, they get lost with that. When you say Tantra, tantric massage, you're just a fixer. Tantra means the body therapy. Right? All yogas are Tantra too. If you go for a long walk, hiking, it's a Tantra too. You understand? Because you are using your body and that stimulates, improve your circulation and you feel better. Your happy hormones are released and this and that. Do you understand? So that's why it's very important to find Tantra in our daily life. It's very important to do mantra in our daily life. And it's very important to do Buddha in every moment of our life. Do you understand? So those are the essential things. And then especially regarding the 3 mental poisons, in Tibetan tradition we have 3 main yogas. First yoga is called the Maha Yoga. That's antidote for anger. Do you understand? Fire type of people, you practice Maha Yoga. Any Maha Yoga practitioners here? Anyone? Yeah? What practice do you do? Yidam practice, yeah? Okay, Yidam practice. Yeah, we call it the Yidam practice too, deity practice too, okay? Deity practice. And it is a very, very effective, how do you say, meditation if you really feel, how do you say, if you suffer from anger, or if you think you are like a short-tempered person. Do you understand? And many people are confused and they don't know what to do. You know, if you express your anger, then maybe you can harm somebody else. If you don't express, then you are suffering. Do you understand? So it's something difficult to handle. And if you always repress your anger, and it can cause a heart attack, right? It can increase your blood pressure. And it can even cause a stroke. Anger can cause stroke, can you imagine? So that's why, as I said, it's a poison, it's a dangerous, but if we know how to use it, or if we know how to deal with it, it can become a good medicine, okay? So that's why this Maha Yoga's practice, all mental level, but you imagine yourself as a wrathful Buddha. There are 3 types of Buddha: peaceful, wrathful, or fierceful. Your translation is fierceful, right?
Yeah, I say fierce, yeah. Mild and fierce.
Mild and fierce.
So you don't have to say peaceful.
So this is the peaceful Buddha, and then here we have Mahagara.
Fierce one. I like to say fierce because they're not really angry. They're kind, but they're destroying ferocity. That's why I don't like to say wrathful.
Yeah.
But it's not wrong.
Can you show us the
what?
Can you show us the Hayagriva?
Ah!
You should look at them.
Hayagriva? Well, Hayagriva. Well, no, they have a picture of Hayagriva.
If you look,
Very fierce one.
You know, if you look these images, the Buddhist images, tankas. We have tankas where? Where do we have? And
Conference center?
yeah.
We'll see them on
Sunday.
Sunday.
Afternoon.
Some deities are like this, you know.
I had a vision of Hayagriva.
Can you do that?
What?
No. Tongue is inside, rolling up.
That's right. Have fangs. A little bit fangs.
Right one is up. Right one is up. Yeah. Keep doing.
That's Tarjani Mudra, threatening gesture. Tarjani Mudra.
Should I take a picture? So some people, when they see first time this Tibetan Tanka art, they say, "What is this?" They all look at demons, demonic. They really look like so angry, like demonic. I always tell them, when you are angry, you take a selfie. It's the same expression, right? Do you take selfie when you are angry? No, that's why you don't know yourself. And that's why when you see a scary image, you say, "Oh, demonic." Demon is not there, demon is here. So that part of practice, Maha Yoga, It's a very, very nice practice, and because ancient time is like it's a meditation, but like a theater, you know. Do you understand? So practitioners are artists, or actors and actresses. Do you understand? So that's why you read the text and you imagine yourself is like that. So that's why Karchinyamgu, it's called the 9 expressions. Can you imagine in one face you have 9 expressions? You know, there's expression of love, compassion, and energy, power, scary, all together. Do you understand? So we have to train ourselves how these 9 expressions putting together. But I think 3, maybe 5 of them, they are more expressing our strong emotions.
Yeah.
So you see, it's like a theater. You do this practice and you are able to release, express your emotions. Do you understand? So instead of screaming to somebody else, you scream in your work, like in theater. Do you understand? So you scream half an hour with your theater show and this and that, and then when you come home, you are so peaceful because you are tired, no energy for screaming. So yeah, if you know this deity, some of you are already practicing, you really should find the real meaning of these things and how it's important to express that your emotion. Do you understand? And the wrathful deities, fearful ones, we're expressing the anger, and the peaceful ones are also really experiencing the inner peace and love and joy, these things. And then there is one is called joyful deities, joyful or passionate, you know, they show the passion. So those are the deities, they look a little bit, how do you say? Can I say sexy?
What?
Erotic. Not yogi is sexy, right?
Yeah, it's sexy.
Can I say?
Erotic, yes.
Erotic. Do you understand? So also, some people, they have nature, they need to express, you know, their beauty, passion, this erotic energy, but because of because of shame, you know, we are all blocked. Do you understand? But this kind of, yeah, you are talking also about the Yeshe Tojo. Many of these female deities, they really, how do you say, represent this the perfect state of, how do you say, the power and passion, beauty, and all these things. Do you understand? So you see, we don't believe in ourselves. Even we have everything. Even Buddhas are inside. We don't see them. We don't feel them. We always feel our heart is empty. It's always dark. It's always bad and stress and this and that. And that's why we search some external solutions. External. We need alcohol. We need a drug. We need a cigarette. We need to have, how do you call it? Ganja. We need the cannabis, we need, do you understand? We need the mushrooms and we need that and this. We need the sugar, we need chocolate. Do you understand? We are always seeking something external. We think external things are solutions. But these things, the more we take, the more we need. And one day we don't have it, we are not functioning. That's called addiction. Without those substances, we think we are not functioning, that's called addiction. And then we kind of destroy ourselves. Do you understand? So that's why this kind of Tibetan meditation, I think, is a really highly advanced psychology. Okay? Highly, highly advanced psychology. If you feel stress, if you feel anger, don't fight with stress. Don't against your anger. Do you understand? That's the worst thing. You think, oh, you know, I'm meditating, I'm angry, but I don't like I'm angry. I practice Buddhism since so many years, it's not working. Buddha, you lied to me. You understand? At the end, poor Buddha, you know, you blame to Buddha, you did everything, nothing working. So that's exact, you took the wrong medicine. When you took the wrong medicine, medicine is a poison, or medicine is not working. If you take the right medicine, it have to work. Okay? So for me, I'm a Tibetan medicine doctor. That's why I'm always seeing Buddhism as a psychology. Buddhism as a psychology. I really think we need a better, effective, and easy psychology in our modern life. Do you understand? We don't need too many theories, we don't need to do too many things. Something very simple, something very practical, and we can do these things by ourselves and we see the result. It's working on us. So yeah, that's why I think we really need to rethink. If you are Tibetan Buddhist already practicing, you guys have to think carefully what you are chanting, what you are doing, and what kind of practice, and how your own emotions are connected with your practice. Do you understand? And so that's called the Mahayoga, deities. And then we have the second one is called the Anu Yoga. Anu Yoga is desire. Desire or attachment, and especially we are talking about the sexual desire and attachment. Okay? I'm not going to talk about that tonight. You guys can read my book. Did you read my book, Karma Mudra? Did you read it?
Not yet.
Yes.
Yoga Bliss?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Did you buy the book?
Not yet.
If you want to know about the desire, human desire, especially sexual desire, please read my book, okay? And if you have questions, you can ask Christiana. She's my publisher too. All right. And you know, in the Tibetan tantric Buddhism, this part is very rich. How to deal with the desire and how to handle it. How to use the desire as a meditation method. Do you understand? But then, because of, how do you say, sex is becoming a taboo. You said taboo, right?
Got
Called
Yes.
dukja, let's think you are dukja. Huh?
Taboo.
Taboo.
Oh, taboo, taboo.
So, yeah, because the word itself is considered, you know, something very bad, negative, and something very sensitive. And that's why many Tibetan masters, they have difficulty to express this part of practice. Do you understand? Then it says, oh, it's a secret practice, and then this and that. But then there are so many misunderstandings about this practice and also misuse of this practice. So that's why I wrote that book, try to explain what is a real, original Karma Mudra practice. Okay? And old school, that part.
Excellent book.
Good
Excellent.
book. Thank you. And so that part we call Anu Yoga. Anu means excellency yoga. Excellence, no Anu.
Anu?
Excellency.
Well, it means following.
Uh-huh.
Anu means to follow after something.
Follow.
In Sanskrit. Anu Bandha, Anu Yanu Yoga. Following after the Mahayoga.
Also
the Anu
excellency,
Yoga.
no?
What?
Excellency.
Well, maybe. I'm not sure. Not sure that one. But Jesu, Burger told you, Jesu,
Jesu.
Yoga, Anu. Jesu
And
Yoga.
then, Mahayoga is how to work with anger, passion, you know, love. There are 3 types of deities. And then Anu Yoga is the one how to work with desire and attachment. And then Ati Yoga is the antidote for confusion, ignorance. Or if you want to call it stupidity, you can call it stupidity too. Okay? And as Professor said, the Supreme, Ati Yoga is known as the Supreme. And my translation, Ati, I call it extreme yoga. Extreme. Because Ati Yoga means it's extremely simple. Do you understand? The ones I said about this theater, expression of emotion, and then how to work with desire, all these practices kind of like they are complex, you know. There are many different levels and stages and visualizations, mantras, very complex. But Ati Yoga, originally it's supposed to be very direct and very simple, extremely simple and extremely effective. Okay, and in an English word to know this, it's how do you say? So as I said, lucid dreaming, right? You know what lucid dreaming? When you are dreaming,
lucid dream, yeah.
When you are dreaming, you realize you are dreaming. So Ati Yoga, we can translate lucid awake or lucid living. And so, you know, in the dream, it doesn't matter it's a good dream or bad dream or funny dream or stupid dream, right? It doesn't matter. Any dream we can become lucid. Do you understand? The main problem in the dream is we don't realize that everything is our own projection and then we get lost in it. That's our main problem. And the best solution is just to become lucid. You know you are dreaming. And any moment, it doesn't matter it's good dream, bad dream, boring one. Do you understand? Any moment. So now that the dream you put in real life. In real life, we can do the same thing. We can be lucid any moment. It doesn't matter you are suffering, you have pain, or you are having fun, partying, singing, running, smoking, drinking, doesn't matter. Do you understand? Any moment, if you use your mindfulness, if you use, if you practice, any moment you become lucid. So that's called Ati Yoga. Is that simple?
Very nice.
Is that extremely simple? And so next days I'll help you how to get that. Hopefully you'll get this. And everybody has this book. I will teach according to this mirror of light.
Yes.
From tomorrow, if you have the book, come back with this book, Mirror of Light.
We have Dr. Nida's books for sale.
There you go.
It's a bookstore.
Lovely.
And then something.
So I love your story about the man who couldn't sleep because someone was chasing him in the dream.
Yes.
Can you tell that story?
You want me to tell that?
I was hoping.
Okay. My dream story. So somebody was having a bad dream. It's called the nightmare, right? So the nightmare is a demon is chasing that guy, you know, with a knife and chasing, and this dream comes very often. And then each time this man wake up, he said, oh, you know, a demon is chasing after me. Of course, he's feeling bad and this and that. But then one night, again, the repeating dream, you know, recurrent dream, he dreamed that guy was chasing him. And then that night he said, I really want to know what this guy wants from me. So he stopped and he asked this demon, he said, why you are chasing me all the time and what you want from me? And this demon says, I don't know, this is your dream.
That's so good. That's really unique. I never heard that from anybody but you. Is that an Amdo story? From your guru?
Yes, Amdo story. Okay.
Okay, thank you. No, I think that's really nice. Everyone have a nice sleep. And remember, you're not sleeping in the darkness, you're sleeping in clear light. That's a special Menla yoga of sleep. When you fall asleep and you turn off the lights and you close your eyes and you give up consciousness, and you feel, but when you give it up, you don't stay in the dark place. You're actually, without knowing it, you're in the clear light. And that's why you're then going to feel really great tomorrow. You're gonna really feel good. So that's a special yoga sleep. You have to think about it before you fall asleep. I'm going to entrust myself to clear light. And what they call clear light, Prabhasvara, Asa. Right? That's a Menla sleep yoga, special one. Don't forget that. It's so nice to have you. So, okay.
This archive video is made possible through the generous support of the Tibet House US Menla Online membership community. To learn more about the benefits of Tibet House membership and upcoming online offerings, please visit tibethouse.us.